Sixth paragraph. Service of truth and service of liberty are the two tasks identified by Camus which the artist must perform to the best of his abilities, irrespective of his predicament or situation. Camus acknowledges that an artist will have shortcomings, for he might be poor, he might be imprisoned, oppressed by tyrannical forces, or might not be famous, or might have a fleeting moment of fame. However, despite his limitations, if he chooses to voice the truth and speak for liberty through his art, then the people will appreciate his efforts and accept him as an artist. The responsibility of the artist is great as he has to unite a lot of people against tyranny. The magnitude of such an action makes it necessary that the artist not pollute his art by compromising with lies and servitude to those in power. If the artist compromises his art, he will be isolated. Camus reiterates that despite the personal weaknesses, the nobility of the art will be based on two commitments which the artist has to make: the refusal to lie about what he knows and resisting oppression. Paragraph 7. Camus has been writing for the past 20 years, and this time frame also witnessed Hitler's rise to power, Spanish Civil War, the Second World War, the world of concentration camps and gulags, a Europe of torture and prisons and other violent incidents. The people who survived must now raise their children and create their works with the threat of nuclear destruction looming over their heads. Amidst this despair, some have chosen to follow the path of nihilism and destruction. Camus tells that he understands their pain, but he also reminds that many in his country and in Europe have opted a different path. They are not going down the path of despair. They are working to develop an art of living in a world of catastrophe with the hope of being born a second time, simultaneously striving to keep death and violence away. Eighth paragraph. Camus mentions a common line of thought which every generation engages with. They believe that their predecessor didn't do a good job, and hence it is their turn to set things right and reform the world. He tells that his generation has had enough experiences, that is 2 world wars and the aftermath, to know that no one can truly reform the world. Their worldview has changed, and they have come to believe that their task is simply to prevent the world from destroying itself. This, Camus believes, is a greater task than reforming it. The current generation has inherited a broken world with broken people. It has received a corrupt history, witnessed failed revolutions, and the misuse of technology. The faith in God and ideologies is long gone, and even mediocre powers or people try to destroy each other, not knowing how to communicate or convince people. Intelligence in this generation has been misapplied to spread hatred and oppress people instead of liberating them. The people of this generation, Camus feels, have had to build from scratch some form of meaning to their existence by reclaiming some dignity of life and death. Having seen what the humanity is capable of and coming close to world annihilation, not once but twice, the people of this generation are aware that if they let people who misuse power dictate terms, then there will be no world to live in. Hence, they are in a race against time to bring an agreement of peace among people, which Camus equates with the Ark of Covenant. Now, what is the Ark of Covenant? The Ark of the Covenant, also known as the Ark of the Testimony, and in few verses across various translations as the Ark of God, is a gold covered wooden chest with lid cover, described in the book of Exodus as containing the 2 stone tablets of the 10 commandments. So basically an agreement of the God written in 2 slabs. And that is the agreement that God has made with people for a peaceful existence. Camus is hopeful of the developments that are happening all over the world as people are rising up to protect truth and liberty, even willing to put their lives on the line. Such efforts must be acknowledged and appreciated, he tells. Camus says he wants to pass on the honor he has received to this generation. Paragraph 9. Camus has outlined the nobility of the writer's craft. He believes that the artist has no other demands other than the ones he shares with the comrade in arms. The artist has a double existence, as despite having personal shortcomings, he has to rise up to the challenges to create his artwork amidst the destructive forces. Given the dire circumstances in the world, Camus questions the futility of asking the artist to maintain high morals and to provide complete solutions. He comes back to the 2 vital commitments the artist has vowed to uphold. What are they? Truth and liberty. Camus tells, truth is mysterious, difficult to get hold of, and is easily manipulated by those in power. Liberty is a double-edged sword. It sets you free to follow your will, but simultaneously holds you accountable. Yet Camus stresses the importance of moving forward to defend truth and liberty, being fully aware of the fact that we might make mistakes somewhere along this long journey. No writer who is truthful to himself will project himself or his image as infallible or as somebody who does not commit mistakes. So he gives lineage, he gives liberty to the artist as well to make mistakes, to be imperfect, but continue with his purpose. Camus confesses that he is such a writer, imperfect and who loves the light side of life. Feeling nostalgic, he tells that his love for life's pleasures might explain the errors in his past, but most importantly, it has helped him understand his craft. The artist is understanding life in a better manner, and as such is able to share the meaning of life with his comrades. Camus asserts that this understanding is still helping him in his efforts to support people who have been silenced by oppressive regimes by helping them live and relive brief moments of happiness through his writing. 10th paragraph. He concludes his speech having communicated his thoughts on the role of the artist and the writer in the society. Camus believes in the inseparable nature of the existence of the artist who sees the world differently but is bound to portray the experiences of the people with whom he shares his existence. The nobility of his art is embedded in the writer's commitment to uphold truth and liberty in the world by giving voice to those who have been silenced. He feels freer at having communicated his thoughts and to comment on the generosity of the honor he has been bestowed with. He also adds that he feels freer to receive the honor as an homage rendered to all those who are participating in the struggle against oppression, having received no privilege but only misery and persecution. He thanks his audience and assures them to keep the ancient promise every artist makes to himself in silence of remaining faithful in their work.